Hello everybody, welcome to the Political Vigilante. My name is Graham Elwood. I want to talk about another area where climate change, a new study has come out about affecting trees in Joshua Tree National Forest. And Joshua trees are super resilient. They last for 300 years. They can handle drought. They're desert trees. But the severe droughts that we've had as a result of climate change have made it a lot worse. And this article was submitted by Eric Hughes. So Eric, thank you so much for supporting the show. You too can support the show by going to patreon.com/Graham Elwood. Joshua trees will be all but extinct by 2070 without climate action, this study warns. Well, I would argue we're all going to be extinct by 2070. They said life on Earth couldn't even live past 2050. I don't want to get into the debating, Graham, this report says 5 years, this report says 20, we all know it's severe. We all know it could happen in 5, 10, 20, I don't know what, but we all know it's happening. I don't want to get into the I know it's severe, and that's why I'm doing climate change, at least one climate change video a week, if not more. And they don't get the best views, I'll be quite honest with you. Other topics get better views, but I'm going to keep talking about this. The Joshua Tree National Park covers 1,200 square miles of sandy, hilly terrain in the desert between Los Angeles, Las Vegas, and Arizona. So last week Ron Placone and I did shows. We did a show in Las Vegas, so we drove out there and we drove through this. So and it's massive, and the trees and the cacti and everything it's amazing. And there's so much, people think that, deserts, everything's dead. If you don't know much about it, it's completely false. There is so much life in the desert. It is a very intricate ecosystem, as is the whole planet, just as much as a forest. It just doesn't look that way. But there's so much life in the desert. So here's what's happening. If greenhouse gas emissions are seriously curbed and summer temperatures are limited to an increase of 5.4 degrees Fahrenheit, 3 degrees Celsius, about 19% of the park's Joshua Tree habitat would survive after the year 2070. Wow, so 81% is going to be gone. That's provided we curb everything. I don't know what people think. It's report after report after report after report after study after study. And and the climate change deniers are always so funny to me. Because it's like there was reports that the oil companies did in the 70s. They did their actual reports and it came back and said, oh man, fossil fuels, the internal combustion engine is causing this. And then the oil companies buried these reports and then funded their own misinformation reports and created institutions like the American Petroleum Institute, which sole purpose was, it was funded by the oil lobby to put out reports saying, climate change isn't that bad. This looks pretty bad to me. And here's what's happening with what they discovered in this study. Young Joshua trees and seedlings aren't able to store enough water to weather these dry spells during droughts, such as the epic 376-week-long one. We had one that went from 2011 into 2018, 2019 in California. Last winter, we got all this rain, and so now the whole state is fine. But there was a 5-year stretch there from 2011 to 2016 that was gnarly. That was it was bad, bad, bad. We had really wet winters and everything's back, but now what happens when the next one happens? And there's all this severe weather, It's really hot. We're breaking record temperatures. June was the hottest month. Every summer is the hottest one from the year prior. And I hate to say it, but probably this fall in California will break more wildfire. Every year, the last 3 years, we've had worse wildfires than the year prior because everything gets so dry. So we're not addressing this. And it's why more than ever, we need Bernie Sanders. Now that Gravel dropped out and he just backed Bernie Sanders, we need a Bernie Tulsi. We need it in there. We need a progressive because any sort of incremental, Joe Biden's middle ground, that'll kill us all. Kamala Harris, she'll just be jailing people and going to war. what the corporate Democrats will do if they win, and I include Liz Warren in this group, they will just reinstate very flimsy environmental regulation that Obama had. And they'll get those very minor, flimsy regulations back and go, victory, we beat Trump. And it's like, no. And they're going to, we're going to take 10 years and it's going to take time. And we're going to curb emissions and raise gas mileage standards. Every time I hear that, like in the debates, I'm like, curbing emissions and raising gas mileage standards. Boy, that would have been great if they implemented that in 1980. If in 1980 they said by the year 2000, we're off of oil. And here's how we're going to start. And by 1990, electric cars everywhere. Like they could have done that 30 years ago. 40 years. I don't want to hear it, man. I don't want to hear it. As global temperatures rise, more and longer droughts are expected to occur around the world, and that means fewer and fewer new Joshua trees surviving to adulthood because they can't handle the drought. Trees growing in higher elevation spots, which tend to be cooler and retain more moisture, survive much better than those in lower, drier regions. We're just going to go to higher ground? See how there's nowhere to run? Fewer than 10% of Joshua trees survive when wildfires rush through their habitats, thanks in part to car exhaust coating desert shrubs with flammable nitrogen. Car exhaust. There's so many things the car and internal combustion engine is doing that just affect everything. It's why we have to get off fossil fuels. Off. And I applaud Tulsi Gabbard because she, in the last debates, brought up the fact that the reason she didn't support the Green New Deal is because she's like, I've created the OFF Act. We got to get off fossil fuels. Whatever you want to call it, however it gets done, like Noam Chomsky says, to debate the specifics of a Green New Deal, fine. How we're going to implement it here and there, because there's a lot, it's going to be a big undertaking. But we all have to agree we got to be off fossil fuels. And when you hear like any of the corporate Democrats say, well, we'll take 10 years for this and 20 years for that, and it's just like, no. We get a real progressive in there, they got to get sworn in and said, we're going to be off fossil fuels in 5 years or, done, gone, over. Make that the priority. Look there's so many, not to mention the health risks from, in Los Angeles, they did this story about a year or so ago, some apartment complexes right by the freeways and everybody living there is getting health, there's no way it's good on any level. By protecting the trees, they're protecting a host of other native insects and animals that depend on them as well. The delicate ecosystem, as I talked about. I bring you this information not to freak you out, not to say, oh, we're all going to die, but to say we all got to wake up. We all got to put so much pressure on everybody. We need to do general strikes. We need to do stuff. I don't know what. They're doing a general strike in Hong Kong. They're shutting that down. Look what France is doing. It's going to take nonviolent resistance and shutting stuff down. It's going to take that. Because if we just hope that this corrupt, deliberately rigged system with the corporate media and the two corporate parties is going to get it done, listening, we got to stop Mitch McConnell. Oh, God. Him, Pelosi, they're all the same. And the Republicans go, oh, we got to stop Pelosi. And the people who vote red all the time think that Pelosi's the best. They're duped too. They're tricked on the right into thinking the Democrats are the big bad party. They're both awful. They both screw people over. That's all these parties do, man. And everything's going to die. So we have to take strong, severe action. Thanks for supporting the show, everybody. Go to grahamelwood.com for the tour dates. Ron and I are going to the Midwest in September. I will be in Russia, and I'm going to bring my camera. I'm going to interview people. I'm going to put together a little 30-minute documentary about what life in Russia is like. And many of you helped support it on the Indiegogo. Thank you so much. I have a P.O. box For those of you who are like, Graham, I'm off the grid, I want to support you, but I don't want, send me a cashier's check or whatever you wanted. I appreciate that. Thank you for supporting the show. Patreon.com, Rockfin.com, which is a blockchain cryptocurrency platform that I'm putting all my videos on. They're ad-free. When you endorse my videos, when you subscribe through my channel on Rockfin, I get residual income. Thanks for watching.